welcome back to my show, NainaMD, Fusion of Science and Beauty, right here in Beverly Hills. And my next guest is another amazing guest. His name is Dr. Nick Delgado. He holds at least two world strength and endurance records, which he's going to tell you about. He's been in lifestyle, health, anti-aging field for over 40 years. He looks like half his age. And I'm so pleased that he's here on the show today. So Dr. Nick Delgado, welcome. And I just wanted to really, this whole show, as you know, is promoting about integrative medicine, bringing credibility into the anti-aging and regenerative medicine fields. And one of the things which I really wanted, you to come on is to say you have been doing, now you've termed it the Delgado protocol, but before you have been, into health, fitness, and knowing what nutritional medicine, and just have understood all the complexity, but yet the simplicity at the same time of what and the benefits of how to holistically manage your health. Correct?
Correct, Dr. Naina. I've achieved outstanding accomplishments in health and fitness and well-being, and I like to be a role model for others, including doctors who come to see me for direction and guidance. But it wasn't always that way. At one point, nearly 40 years ago, I was obese, 25% body fat. I had hypertension.
I can't imagine you.
I suffered a small TIA, a stroke, when I was only 23 years old. And so I was searching to find out what was wrong. I was on what I thought was the healthy American diet, high in protein. I was exercising. I was a football player, and things had gone wrong.
And in your early 20s, I just can't believe that you actually had a small stroke. Wow.
Well, again, I think I was taking something that I thought was good to an extreme, and those extremes led to some complexities and problems of high cholesterol, high blood pressure, increased thickness of my blood, high blood viscosity. Right. And it wasn't until I met Nathan Pritikin after I'd seen him on a 60-minute show, and also Dr. Ron Duvendek, who could take your blood from a microscope, a little pinprick, and put it
That's called live blood cell technology.
At 6,000 times. And I could see what was going on in not only my own blood, but in other people. So it really helped me to guide people, motivate them. Later, of course, I applied the principles of anti-aging, went to every conference I could go to. Yes. I've seen you at most conferences we visited around the world. And, those principles work through epigenetics, through timeline therapy, mental focus, love and compassion, exercise and diet. So there's multiple things that I do to manifest the best I can possibly be. And I'll be 61 this year. So, I train and I keep up with those young 20-year-olds.
Amazing. Yeah, I know. In fact, I think when did you last beat another world record, or you were in some sort of you're always in competitions?
Yeah, last year, March 2014, I led Team USA to our third world championship title, where we took 45-pound dumbbells, we curled and pressed overhead. It's a brutal, tough competition, and I outlifted everyone in the competition. And I was probably the second oldest. There's another gentleman, one of my mentors, Dragan Radovich, but it was a delight. And my son is on the team, and my brother, and so it was really Team Delgado along with Dragan Radovich and Tim Nash. So it was really fun to represent the world in competition at the Arnold Classic. 120,000 athletes we challenged against. Anyone could beat us, could win a prize, and we beat them all.
Wow. What do you attribute that to? Tell me, in your own life, what have you done that you attribute to be able to complete and actually win a competition like that?
The core of the program for me begins with whole food nutrition. I don't eat things out of cans and fast foods. It's whole watermelon, tomatoes, grapes, celery, whole brown rice, cooked fresh beans, sprouts. I don't add oils, but I get my essential fatty acids from soaked nuts and seeds. I do eat some avocado and olives. So it's really a whole foods program. No added chemicals, sugars, and added oils and fats.
What about when a lot of people take fruits, and it's like some of the higher sugar fruits like pineapple, and do you allow that in your diet?
Absolutely. I've reviewed some recent 2015 medical journals, and these fruits amazingly have polyphenols, which is an important phytochemical that stabilizes insulin. So we used to think fruit might increase sugar. We're not finding that at all. The fruit, you can have have 5-10 pieces of fruit a day. Some of my clients who are achieving weight loss can eat as many as 20 pieces of fruit a day. It contributes, along with vegetables and brown rice and beans a piece, it contributes to a slimmer, fitter body, more energy, more live enzymes, more phytochemicals. And we believe recent studies show that it can fight cancer with some of the L-citrulline in watermelon, help with reducing inflammation.
Yeah, what about the controversy that sugar feeds a cancer? So how are you finding that, that let's just say that, some of the high sugar content fruits, how are we, can you give me a little idea about
Sure.
how the audience would deal with a controversy like that? Should you, shouldn't I, do that? Because a lot of people recommend, hey, don't take these high sugar foods because you're just feeding the cancer. And so something like pineapple, which is high sugar, or like watermelon, which is a lot of high sugar, right? Grapes.
Yeah, I would have agreed in the early stages, but the true human physiology of the body is that, as I mentioned, these polyphenols, along with the fiber in the fruit, the freshness, all the enzymes, it really doesn't spike insulin. The concern was the fruit, would convert into excess glucose,
right,
and cause abnormal insulin metabolism. Quite the opposite. It gets perfect, nice levels of insulin and glucose levels. I've done many studies. In fact, leading up to my world record, I was eating tons of watermelon, and even the day of the world record, I made sure I got a lot of watermelon from the hydration and all the nutrition. Of course, L-citrulline increases nitric oxide. We know that nitric oxide is incredibly important to fight cancer, to build up the immune system, to improve circulation. So, I think that there's a real misnomer right now, and I can cite at least 10 medical journal studies that I'll forward to you that I'm posting at my website, delgadoprotocol.com. And really, I think that there's a lot of information that we have to pull together, because I hear the ketogenic doctors saying, let's go on a fat diet, let's avoid all the sugars, let's not feed. But when I talk to Dr. Tony Jimenez, who's a cancer specialist, he's putting them on fresh fruit. He's seeing that it's not increasing the rate of cancer.
So maybe what it really is and I've looked at the literature too, I really think that there's, like you said, with the insulin spikes, I think taking just one sort of like a fruit, and let's just taking a sugar without a fiber, it's really how you mix. It's how you mix and how you eat. And this is something that no one is ever talking about. No one is really looking at. Is how are you mixing, and the foods, how are you eating? And that is really everything in a diet. People are not understanding that.
Right. In the studies head-to-head, they took industrial fructose, which is man-made, and that did spike insulin.
Obviously.
It did increase glucose.
Or corn syrup.
Exactly. But when you take from the whole fresh container, the fresh fruit itself, no problem at all. The body knows how to utilize it from millions of years of evolution that brought us to where we're at. So I think there's a misnomer in that regard. And the other thing was, I broke all the records because there's a myth that you have to train every third day and let the muscles rest. No. World champions train every day. We train because our muscles, at first you're sore and it's a little hard to recover, but by eating extra watermelon and cherries of all things, red cherries, the acanthocytes, they help to reduce inflammation. So I have no pain and stiffness in my body, even though I train as hard as a 20-year-old. And that's...
How many hours?
That's the surprising thing. That's the other thing. I learned from the Bulgarians who have broken many Olympic world records to train about 45 minutes to an hour. So I go, in my sport, we have to lift for a nonstop for an hour. So I train my body to be prepared to last 1 hour lifting weights nonstop with no break, just hit it hard and fast.
That's what you did. So every day, that's what you did.
I go for 7 days a week. When I'm breaking a world record, I'll add maybe an extra training session at night. After I get early to bed, I'll wake up and train early. But usually my net training over the last 40 years is about 4 workouts a week, about an hour of intense training. And it's kept me in phenomenal shape. My abs show. I don't have to take diuretics or drugs to get in shape.
Why is it that technology is changing, right? An iPhone, and you can't even keep up with all the new technology. Why do we expect that the standards of care, for example, what a routine blood test should be, what should, a routine this should be for a person is staying the same for over 50 years? Why is it that people are not realizing, or the medical profession is not realizing in conventional medicine, that our health is rapidly changing because we have to rapidly acclimatize to the environments and the what we call the tech revolution? As a result, our nutrient needs or our deficiencies based on what's available now in our environment today is different than what it was 20 years ago or 10 years ago.
Yeah, we have more stress, more toxic chemicals in our environment.
That's what I'm saying. So why are we're not keeping up with our health revolution, so to speak, but we've got a whole tech revolution, and it's fine to be updated on the hospitals update on their latest, machinery and all of that. Well, why are we not updating on what the battery of tests we need to be doing? Our tests of right now, routine tests, are outdated. They're archaic.
Completely. Dr. Naina, of course, having visited with you and other anti-aging physicians, you've put me under the gun and tested my body and found, oh, you're deficient in this, this, and this. Let's augment this. Let's replace this to youthful levels, not excessive levels. And I think there's a misnomer, as you mentioned earlier. Steroids, from the street definition, is excessive, 10 times the dosage that a young man would ever need.
And not even natural, and not even bioidentical.
Right, correct. So, they use these elements that are not even naturally found in the body, at least in reasonable amounts. So when we replace these hormones, we don't just balance one or two. We look at the thyroid, the DHA, the melatonin, the testosterone, the estrogen levels. And we look at the metabolites and the adrenals. We look at all these things, and it's so clear to us.
We look at cofactors, we look at nutrient deficiencies that drive it. We even try to do design diets that naturally will enhance that particular hormone.
Right.
I mean, that's detail, you guys. And then we're like criticized in anti-aging regenerative medicine, and we're here, board certified in this, and by the American Academy of Anti-Aging Regenerative Medicine, and we can't even get this into a specialty?
Well, don't forget that Philip Morris, the cigarette company, actually bought Kraft and multiple fast food chains. So they're trying to use the same publicity to make it okay to eat these junk foods. The ADA, the Dietetic Association, gets contributions from Coca-Cola, millions of dollars of contributions, and they're saying that these junk foods there's no bad food, there's only food.
It's all about diet.
We've got to exercise.
You're absolutely right. I'm so glad you could come on the show. I definitely, I'm just so thrilled. And please, is it DelgadoProtocol.com?
DelgadoProtocol.com.
Okay.
DELGADO Protocol, PROTOCOL.com. And they can look us up, and if they mention the show, we'll send them a $500 video that is audio program that they can listen to, interviews such as between you and I and others. And it's normally a $500 value for $7. Just call our office and we'll send it out to them.
Very good. Thank you again. And thank you, everyone. I'll see you next week. NainaMD, Fusion of Science and Beauty, right here in Beverly Hills.